Welcome. I'm Barrie-Louise Switzen. The Women's Connection is a program about events shaping women's lives and helping one gain authentic power, both on a personal and professional level. I don't know about you, but there never seems to be enough hours in the day to get everything accomplished, even with all of our electronic equipment we have available. And the faster I go, the farther behind I become. Our guest today transverses the globe, imparting her strategies and visionary insights to everyday life. Let us hear how we can do less, achieve more by the world-renowned lecturer and leading American author in Asia and the Pacific Rim. Our guest today is Ning Chu, and I'd like to welcome you.
Hi, Barrie.
Thank you for joining me today. I read your book a couple times, the first time straight through. A couple times.
Thank
and
you.
The second time, I went through with a highlighter. While I was highlighting so much of your book, I almost highlighted the entire book.
The book is in color now.
Exactly. I was amazed at the fact that you were combining centuries of wisdom with your own expertise into this book to make it a very simple, simplistic book for everyday use. How did you come about writing this book?
Well, I look at life, 20th century, after 100 years, human beings struggle, try to improve our life. By the end of this century, we have more stuff, and we have more computer, more high tech to help us. But the problem is that we have a new disease called, I can't take it anymore. Everybody go, I can't take this anymore. So I thought, right now we're looking at a new century coming up. There has to be a new way to look at our life.
Mm-hmm.
But how can we actually do less and yet accomplish more? Because we cannot do more because there's only so much energy, so much time. So there has to be another rhythm. To discover that rhythm, that is the purpose of this book.
It's a wonderful book. Did it take you long to write it, or just?
It's a long, yes, it was long because I spent about 5 years because I have to prove this theory actually works.
Uh-huh.
It's not just a theory you dream up, highfalutin ideas. It has to practically actually help. So I have to prove it. I had to lecture to the Fortune 500 companies, and they had to say, this really actually works.
That's wonderful. Your masterful book explains the universal truths about the nature of effort, success, willpower, detachment, and attracting luck.
Yes, yes.
Especially luck. Let's hear about that and how we can do it in our lives.
Well, the whole book began with the story of a rainmaker.
Mm-hmm.
A rainmaker, Carl Jung often talk about it. And he came to a village and he spent 4 days and locked himself in a tent. 4 days later, the rain pours. The villager congratulated him because every other rainmaker had failed the task. He said, but I didn't do anything. All I did is I discovered the village is out of balance. So I put myself in balance. Out of that, the rain comes. The positive result that they're looking for comes. So I take a look at that rainmaker and say, what kind of life would he have? What kind of experiences he has to accumulate? What kind of wisdom that he has to embody? Then he knows how to bring positive results. We all want luck because it's better be lucky than good. And it's wonderful if we can create so-called miracles, but yet miracle has no formula. So the book is really trying to create an environment that draws synchronicities, that attracts hidden coherence beyond just telephone rings when you're thinking about somebody.
That's very common for me.
Right. It has to be, if you have the power to create telephone rings, then you can create lots of other positive things. So that's why, we have 10 secrets in the book that you can adopt into your life.
Why don't we explore those 10 secrets?
Okay. One thing I'm talking about is time.
Mm-hmm.
The reason 20 years that everybody's going crazy about time management. And I said, no, it does not work, time management, because I know the time management guru having a problem with time. When people ask him to do something, he'll say, I have no time, I have no time. Then I said, wait a minute, what time is? Let's look at what time is. Time time existed before creation, was always there. And how can you and I try to manage time? Time is this unmanageable master. Time is a body of the universe. So we can do is make peace with time, which translate into that how we can utilize our time a little bit better, how we can be more proficient in managing ourselves in relationship to utilizing time.
All right. What do? Do you stop?
Well, I actually in the books I have about 18 points about how you can understand time and how to use time, understand time, how to use time. And there's a one I think everybody can relate to, that is paper. All of us has tons of papers flying in our office, at home, and we don't know what to do with them.
Right.
Right? So I said there's a way to handle it. There's only two things you will do. When you touch a paper, you should consider, am I going to do something about it, or I'm going to throw it away? If you cannot do that, neither you want to do something about it, nor you want to throw it away. So you create 3 drawers. For those paper crying, say, don't throw me away, don't throw me away. You might need me one day. So those paper, you create 3 drawers, label A, B, C drawers. The paper that you think is least important, put in C drawer, B drawer, A drawer, most important. Every 2 weeks, you dump the C drawers in a garbage can. Demote the B drawer to C drawers and the A drawer to B drawers. In that way, your office will be clean.
Sounds good to me.
I just one of the tips, we have 18 points about how you can really, I even talking about ADD. It seems like there's a new disease called ADD. Everybody's like, what's going on? Right,
disorder.
Exactly. And I'm talking about how you can sort, if you have a mild problem, then use some of the strategies that I talked about. If you say, oh, I'm going to go upstairs brushing my teeth, then by the time you reach upstairs, standing in front of your sink, you forgot why you're there for. We do that a lot because between you have the idea, by the time you get to the sink, you have about 10, 20 more thoughts.
So how do you
come across it? So this is what you do. It's so much simpler. You say, I'm going to brush my teeth, so you keep the thought. I'm going to brush my teeth. You keep walking towards your sink. I'm going to brush my teeth until you get there, brush your teeth, and that's it. You do one thing instead of you say, what am I here for?
I do that constantly. When you go, because you're so busy, your mind is just going constantly of all the things you've got to accomplish. It's like stopping and being in the moment and taking care of what you need to be done, need to do. Ning, you rose from modest background to a world-renowned lecturer.
Actually, I'd like to correct that. I was born into the most rich family in China. Then the Chinese communists threw us out. Then I became refugees. Then I became humble. Then I had to crawl my way up. Yes.
So what was the catalyst that propelled you to where you are today?
I think something has to do, there is a strong desire that even when I was young, it felt like I am going to be somebody important. I don't know why I have the desires. I had to make a statement about me in this world. Therefore, it's always feel like, gotta go, better.
Running.
I'm always strive to discover another me in me. There has to be a better me in me. Tomorrow's me has to be better than today. So I think that desire, I think is very positive. It made me discover new me constantly, so I don't get bored with me.
That's quite a challenge that you place on yourself.
I think it's fun. Otherwise, life is about monotonous existence.
Well, you're saying in the book that the Chinese has a word about busy. It has 2 definitions.
That's a great word, yes. Busy is combined of 2 parts. One is heart, a symbol of heart. The other one is death. Busy means your heart died. And yet in the Western world, you always ask somebody, are you busy these days? And you always answer, oh yes, I'm busy. Because you're not going to say, no, I'm not busy.
Because you'll either get more work to do.
Right, busy, that means you're important. If you're not busy, that's you're not important. So, and yet the ancient Chinese, when they start to invent the language, the philosophy is in there. Busy itself is not good for you. It means your heart have to die. It means there's no peace. In the heart.
That's what I couldn't understand.
There's no peace in the heart, so therefore heart die.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something. Since you're saying that, there's peace in heart and dying, and also, well, let me compose it a second, because you were also talking about fear,
Yes.
and that is a great obstacle for women
Yes.
as well as men, but I think more so for women, because we've been so suppressed in this country of succeeding. What would you say would be the greatest attribute for somebody to succeed?
Good question. In the book, I talked about there's a one law that is when you don't have to survive, you can thrive. As long as you fear of survival, you are always stuck. For example, the rainmaker. Let's look at the rainmaker's job. His job is hired to make rains.
Right.
Now thinking about the villager gathered lots of money. They invited him. They had to pay him airplane ticket first class, had people pick him up and pay him a fee to make rains. Then he is thinking about, well, what happened if I don't get any rains? If I don't get any rains, then what? My reputation will be ruined, and
Right.
people is going to tell other people this guy is a fraud. Then my creditor is going to knock on my door and say, you owe us some money because your business is not going very well. We heard that you don't get the right results. The rainmaker is going to think, my wife is going to leave me because now my career is ruined. Then it's going to take my kids. Oh, God, why don't you just give me some rain? God, please don't be so stingy. Give me a few drops of rain so I will not ruin my life. Okay, God. I'll give you 10% of my income if you just give me some rain. How about 20%? Is that okay? 20%. Give me some rain. Just shower the rain. Okay, God. Is that gross or is that net? So if he's going through all this process, he's not going to make rain because he's going like this. It's like when we attack any task, when we're coming out of total fear, I won't survive. This world is paradoxical. One part, in order to survive, you got to go for. But in order to really thrive, you have to willing not to survive. Just like a runner, in order to run really hard, you got to go with all the effort. But if you have all the effort without relaxation of a muscle, you won't go very long, very, very fast, because you're going to be exhausted, ineffective. And we do our life exactly the same thing. It's always about balance of ease and effort. It's pulling, yet you manipulate these two powers at the same time.
How do you stop manipulating both at the same time?
Well, you have to understand there's lots of great details in the book talking about the balance of the two energies, the two things. And also you have to do the right thing and also think the right thing. See, one is psychological, one is physical.
Would you say that has a lot to do with the people who survived the Holocaust as well as the Vietnam War, where people would survive and others died, and yet they had a lot of identical backgrounds? Where the Holocaust survivors came over to this country, and they would always talk about their parents or their siblings who didn't make it. And you notice their will to live. They have no fear, and they're succeeding quite a bit.
I think when you don't have fear, there are more energy flow through you. You're not blocking the life's energy, the universal energy. I think probably help those people who survived. They have more freedom to utilize outside energy to charge their body and their mind.
It's fascinating, because the other thing that was surprising in your book was that you mentioned that the Chinese have a 5,000-year history of child abuse.
You read that?
Yes. And I bring that up because, I believe here in this country, people get into a child abuse or in a battered adult, and they don't get out of it. And I think part of the reason is fear. And I just wished, do you have any words to say to that?
Well, I had to qualify that 5,000 years child abuse. Chinese people do not consider they abuse their children because we don't have a concept what child abuse is all about. So therefore we can do anything to our kids because we love our kids. But yet,
to me,
out of love, the kids got damaged. The kids got hurt. And because of that, we often carry that scar throughout our life that make us work ineffectively, because when your parents leave you, yet they might pass away or you move away, but the parents inside your head is with you and constantly
That little
blame
voice.
you, that voice, you're not good enough for this, you're not good. So you carry that with you. In the books, I talking about granting yourself grace. It's one way to you can arriving at the state, do less, achieve more, create a much more magnetic energy field, to get good things happen to you. Because your mind had to give yourself grace. When your mind don't give yourself grace, even if you're in heaven, you're still in hell.
Interesting.
Because if you're in heaven, but your mind is punishing you, it doesn't matter where you are at outside, because the only reality is in here. So you have to learn how to give yourself grace. Every one of us is saying, I hope so-and-so help me, so-and-so help me, which we cannot control whether or not people are going to help us or not. But yet, look at you. You can always help yourself by giving yourself the grace, the blessing, the forgiveness, the love you need. So forget, the parents is always going to be here, but you have a power to overcome the parents go, da, 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 da. And when I was young, my parents they love me, but they don't know better because they were the victim of child abuse, severe child abuse.
So it keeps coming
because
down.
so strict. Right, so I was carrying my parents with me. Even though I live in the States, thousands of miles away, my parents with me. So I see that, my mother still live in my head. So I better say, it's okay to go now.
It's a hard road to get rid of a lot of those little voices in one's head. I think we all carry them.
Books actually provide strategies about how to do that.
One of the other things you said, many things that you said in your book, is irritation is the beginning of wisdom.
Yes.
I always thought it was lack of sleep or I was hungry. I don't fully understand irritation is
the beginning of wisdom.
Yes.
We always thought irritation is something terrible, we should get rid of it. Irritation only means something's terribly bad about us. Then we're so irritated about our irritation.
Right.
Right. Why am I so irritated? That you're more irritated about your own irritation. And I say, let's look at this. Irritation is actually the beginning of a warning. Beginning as your mind try to tell you, you need to find answers, a new way to look at your life. And your mind will start to search. Because you're so irritated, then you start to look within, try to find answers, or without, try to find answers. So it's a great survival mechanism. It guides us. Ultimately, we're going to discover life is a celestial sport. It's like we all volunteer to play football, to play basketball. So therefore, we can struggle, we can compete. And there's a true story. In China, there was a warlord in the beginning of this century. And he came to the school that which he supported, a girls' school. In the beginning of this century in China, any girl go to school, that means they're very prestige, they pay, they came from a very good family. This warlord, so there's a bunch of girls, they are fighting over one basketball. And he was really upset. He yelled at the principal, I give you so much money to support your school, and how come you only have one ball? You're so stingy. What did you do with the money? See, the competition is part of the fun. Because everybody have a ball, nobody wants to play. And life is like that. And the problem is once we are here, we sort of forgot it was originally was intended for our entertainment. Yeah? When we, this is about struggle. Remembering life is a game, and got stuck. Life is not a game. Then you got to remembering again until you start to get some. Okay. So you have to surrender. Learn how to surrender to the divine guidance.
And relax.
And go with it.
Go with the flow.
Fun. Yeah, have fun.
I'll tell you, sometimes when you have to look up to see the curb, it's those are great words to remember. Just going with the flow. It's like I was rushing one time because I was late from one appointment to another, and somebody said to me, and I always remember this when I'm rushing, you'll get there when you need to be there.
Life is perfect. Life is perfect. Even you're late, sometimes it's perfect. When,
right.
If I can't help it being late, If I can't help it being late, absolutely, for some reason, cannot help it. And I always say, I must be perfect. There may be some bad things at that time will happen. Then because I'm late, therefore, I have avoided.
Right.
And I'm happy.
Exactly. You were saying there's 4 motivations of
Yeah.
turning a negative into a positive.
Yes, I talked about the 4 toxic motivators.
Mm-hmm.
We human beings use these 4 motivators to survive. They're toxic. And one is fear, greed, anger, desires. We started with desires. We
like
desire
that
this,
one.
we desire that. When we
Right.
don't get our desire, we turn into anger. Then we're furious. And then we go into fear. Fear of not survive. Fear of this. Then we go into greed. And these things, it seems like it's so necessary. Without these 4, why do we bother get up?
Sometimes I wonder too.
Right. It's like, look like this, but
Mhm.
it in itself, they are toxic. But if you can turn it around, it's like a coin. It has 2 sides. One side is toxic, but the other side can be very positive. And I like to talk about Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's greed. He's greedy for more beautiful women, different beautiful women. It's like a child. You have a big platter in front of you, you're eating it. But meantime, your eyes really are the center of the big plate there, the table. You're looking at the table while you're eating here. That's not so great, but however, that same greed for wanting different and better and more, whatever, can motivate you to do something fantastic as well. Clinton is greedy, but he's also greedy for our economy to be good. He's greedy to be a good leader. But that's the same greed. It depends on how you use it. Sometimes if you understand the lessons in its negative aspect, and then you can learn the lesson, let it go. Actually, I think Clinton is going to be much better president after this.
Well, I hope so.
Because he
I'm
has
tired
learned
of
the
this.
lesson, right. He should have learned the lesson, and he should be going on to better things and focus his greed into a better things. We got to save the world.
Talking about the world and the fact that you travel so much.
Yes.
How do you survive? What are your tips for survival on the road?
On the road,
Mhm.
let's see. I don't think about jet lag because I can't think about I have a jet lag. If I'm arriving there, whatever their time, I'm going to accept that. That's that. And one thing is you exercise regularly. So therefore, and eat well. I eat
Yes.
mostly healthy food,
Mm-hmm.
vegetarian, lots of water, etc. And also, I think a calm and sort of good attitude about life. You go with it. You don't make a fuss with it. The truth is, I hate to travel. I hate to travel. Eventually, I had to say, if I have to travel, I might just like it. And you just
I love to.
flow with it, and you just flow with it. Oh, you have to know, airport is not fun these days. The stewardess are getting more mean. Look, whenever I see a stewardess, they remind me of Cinderella's stepmother.
I know. I love to travel, but that's one of the things I don't like about traveling is getting on the
It's
airplane.
right. I like to say, Scotty, beam me up. Then next thing I know, I'm in Sydney, Australia, and give
That'd be
my lecture,
terrific.
and then say, beam me up, back home.
In the closing moments of the show,
Yes.
what advice would you like to give the audience?
Whatever your struggle, your effort is making you stuck. If you resist the struggle and the effort, it's going to be more stuck than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just have to accept it because every struggle, every effort, there's a lesson in it. You learn something. You surrender to this magic hand is guiding you. Because I said there's no failure, there's only divine redirection. Things don't work out because you shouldn't be there to begin with. You set a wrong objective, wrong goal. So you should be turning around. God say, no. Move on
Move
to
on,
another
right.
direction. So instead of consider you fail or you struggle more, go with it, flow. Then you're going to find out there is a grand destiny that waiting for you. And God help those who help themselves.
I agree, because I know when things are flowing and moving, it's great. And if it's stagnating or if it's not moving, it's like, help me, I want to get out of here.
Look
Because
within.
it's- Look within
if
and stop.
you look within and stop struggle, look within and look into my book.
Ah,
Do less, achieve more. Right.
well, thank you so much,
Thank
Ning
you,
Chu,
Barrie.
for joining me today. It's been wonderful having you, and I hope everybody else has had as much pleasure as I have. If you have any questions for Ning Chu or myself, please write us here at The Woman's Connection. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Bye now.